Hi, welcome back. I figured I'd do one more review before everything's done. So I have a couple of things. First, we're doing a review, and then I've got kind of a comparison to show the difference between some stuff. But what we have today is the Origins Grayskull. Give me a second. I'm going to take this out of the little tripod here so we can go over everything. But here we have Castle Grayskull. I don't have a sword handy, but there is the little door locking mechanism. Give me a second. I have to go get a sword. Oh, you know what? Give me a second. I have an idea. Set you down on here and stare at the gate. So I do several reviews at a time, so I still have a lightsaber handy. But we're gonna pop this little door open here. So unlike the original Castle Grayskull that had a slide that you had to slide back and forth, this one is actually spring-loaded. So it just kind of goes in and out. It locks in nicely. It has a similar paint scheme to the original, but the door is a bit more done. It's got brown and silver instead of just being all green. When you open it, it still has the tongue mold, the teeth, although the teeth aren't quite as pronounced back here, but clearly it's a jaw bridge. I do like the instead of the 4 tabs, you had 2 up here, 2 down here. This has this section, 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 and this section, and then this little section down here with a big connecting rod for them. It also, instead of the 2 tabs, has 2 hooks here that hold it together. I like the hooks. And then there are 2 little pegs at the top and the bottom that allow it to connect. And then inside we have, kind of re-angle this so we get a better view. We have Castle Grayskull, and Castle Grayskull came with a white sorceress. The white sorceress is the same mold as the Wave 7 sorceress that came in the wave with Party Boy Stratos, or Mini Comic Stratos, or Peach Stratos, whichever you call him, and then Jitsu and Buzz-Off. So the Filmation one is, or Filmation Vintage Colors one is there. This one was the from the Temple of Darkness mini comic, but you can see it's the same mold. It's just done in white and silver instead of blue and orange and silver. But the mold's the same, the articulation's the same. Even the weapon color is the same. She has the normal hinge at the hip. I think she has the revised knees on the Filmation color, vintage color one. You can kind of see that the knee has a little bulge there, whereas these kind of look like chaps. So new sorceress mold for the Wave 7 sorceress, the original knee mold for the Temple of Darkness sorceress, and then she's got these translucent wings that fold out. I've got them folded in on the vintage one, or the vintage colored one. I shouldn't call it the vintage one. The vintage one, you used to push the tail up and the wings would pop out. There is no action feature on this one. Although you can mix and match the parts, the waist pulls off, the boots pull off, arms pull out, head pulls off. So you can mix and match, although it really only fits with like Tila, Evil Lyn, and She-Ra. I don't really use this figure very much. She kind of sits in a box. I wasn't real impressed with her. I like the sorceress better. And then I have a couple figures here. Battle Armor figure, you'll remember. Clamchamp I haven't quite done the review on before. But we are going to illustrate some of the features on this. So the castle has originally it had banners that were stickers. There was one that hung over the throne. These are now cloth, or they're kind of a silky ribbon. They're really nice. And then the ladder that you used to just kind of put wherever, it actually has little peg holes, and there is a new floor right here for the figures to stand on. There are little pegs for the figures as well. My biggest complaint about Castle Grayskull is the accessories. The weapons rack, the original weapons rack held like 10 weapons or so. This one has 4. It has the Mossman styled mace. Used to be the web store style blaster, but that's more of the Kronos style blaster. It has a Scareglow scythe, and then a sword. The sword was never redone. The scythe was redone for Scareglow. In the vintage line, there was a spear that was redone for Whiplash and King Randor. A shield that came with Stinkor. It's still got the groove here for the shield, although the shield doesn't really fit well. The original rack, the mace that would eventually come with Mossman, kind of hung on the peg here. That big square peg doesn't really fit through this very well. You kind of have to push and twist, and I don't like it, and this is kind of meant to sit on the tab anyway. And then it came with this second weapons rack that's supposed to hold 3 weapons. It really feels incomplete. It came with the battle trainer that has a really nice little spin to it. The boar's head is so much better sculpted on here, and then you can see the big blocky fist. On the vintage Grayskull, I was never really sure what this thing was. Apparently it's a fist. It's got a sticker that's reminiscent of the grate for the trapdoor, and we'll get to that feature in a minute. The elevator still works. You pull the little bird, the elevator goes up and down. It sits nicely, and then you can kind of wrap this around one of the pegs here to hold it in place if you want to keep it up. Although, as you can see, it stays decent. You just kind of hook the bird in. I like the big computer here that used to be a cardboard stand that kind of pegged in up here. The smaller computer was not even there. It had a little robot spacesuit that stood in the corner. This weapon rack used to be a kind of a TP shape. It was another cardboard stand-up thing, but they've done away with that. The spacesuit, there's a 3D molded gate, and then a little thing that sits up here called the Spirit of Grayskull. It's from the mini comics. It's like a smoky skull design, but that was a Comic-Con exclusive, and I'm not paying, $80-100 for 3 pieces that I really only want one of. I mean, the gate are great for the dungeon. I don't really care. The one I wanted was the spacesuit. So I'll try and get a little bit better lighting here in a second, but I wanted to show you the Trapdoor Feature. The Trapdoor Feature has been redesigned from the original. It's hard to keep a figure in here when I'm doing this for the explanations and everything, because the plastic is so much more flexible. I mean, you can see just me rocking the chair a little bit, and that the back corner of that floor panel pops in and out. But it works basically the same as the original. You turn it, the door opens, and he falls through. You close the door, put the seat back. Now, these were all designed to pop in, and it's similar, but you can see that it's a bigger plastic piece than the original one had. The original one had this little green thing with a notch. There was a peg that hung out from one of the I think it was this one, from the right foot piece on the throne. I'm going to just pop this back in here real quick. But it sat in a groove in a green piece under that, and that was what actually activated the trapdoor. So this is bigger and, again, much more sturdy. And if you look at the walls of the castle, you can see it flexes. So I honestly think this is much better designed than the vintage one. I think it's going to last a lot longer because it doesn't have the brittleness that the original one did. And then everything just kind of folds up. Now, the original Castle Grayskull came out in Wave 1 of the Vintage Masters of the Universe line. So you could kind of connect everything, throw all 8 figures in the castle, and you know, take it as a carrying case. You can still do it, you just can't fit everything now that we're into Wave 7, have about 28, 30 different figures in the line, not counting the exclusives and stuff. And then when the castle's completed, it has an updated cannon. The cannon has little, I don't know, like ratchet grooves, so that it can hold different positions, whereas the other one, you kind of had to have the figure angled so it would stay either pointed up or pointed down, or just sat straight across. This one sits on a pin and pivots. The flag on the original one just kind of clipped up on the skull here. This one sits on a peg so you can rotate between bad guys and good guys. This is the Origins Castle Grayskull, and I'll show you the other side real quick as well. Like I said, I like the way it's painted. Looks really nice. They did a good job with this. I like the fact that the plastic is a lot more flexible. My vintage one is very brittle, and I don't take it out very much. I basically leave it, you know, all kind of closed up like this in the toy room downstairs. But I would like to thank you for joining me. Don't mind the mess that is the rest of my house. You know. Anyhow, you all have a good day. Bye.